Well, baby, you've been on my mind. I think about you all the time. Oh, I want to see your face.
I like that. After the work was done, and y'all make have fun.
Yeah. It's not that good of a story. It's just a story. Hey, Brandon. How are you?
Good. How you been?
Great to meet you.
Your shirt's very bright today.
Yeah, well, it's
very bright.
I think it's just all the lights coming on.
Is that going to show up okay on camera?
Oh yeah, that's good.
I'm just kidding.
Too many stripes.
Jesus Christ, man.
You're welcome to put your shoes on here if you want them on.
Okay.
I just tend to go sake. But are we? You got drinks already?
Look at that,
Not
dude.
yet.
It's Mardi Gras time.
Mardi Gras?
Look, I got the wine that I got.
Because we do
over
have
at
these
that-
whiskeys back here, you know.
Sure, that's later. Let's
Okay.
Sip on a little wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, is your camera working, or do I need to get the Dan sign?
We're rolling.
Do I need to get the Dan sign? Is your camera working?
Like, are you, when you talk, will your camera?
Yeah, or do I need to get the Dan sign?
I can always just do this if I need to. We'll just zoom in.
All right, I'm grabbing it just in case. I like the Dan sign.
I almost brought this foldable piano I bought.
I saw that you did.
Yeah. But the thing is, I tried playing it, and it sounds like shit.
All right, do you have all your stuff done? Are you ready to go? Do you need to
You know,
inhale, exhale? What do you need to
I'm
do?
okay. It's 4:31. We're late. I'm 1 minute
You're late.
I'm 1
Don't
minute
say
late.
we.
I'm gonna close this.
Please, yeah. How's your temp?
I just turned the air
Oh,
down.
yeah, go to the restroom. I'm going to say this completely wrong, Brandon.
I'm not
If I
saying that.
remember,
Binju.
I think it's bingo.
Bingo.
They do the GAUX
Bingo.
because of
Like
Louisiana.
go Tigers.
And so this is from the Chateau de Chase. Am I saying that right? CHASSE.
Why don't you like put your
That's
mic
it. Yeah,
somewhere?
talk
Do you want to?
on the
You want to
No,
put your
because
mic?
I'm just asking right now. I'm not doing my
But we're rolling.
We're rolling.
bingo.
Stick out your tongue.
This
a
is
little
this is the. I bet you usually say that, don't you?
bit. Just yeah.
Uh-huh. I know what you're doing.
So there was one time
In
I'll tell you a
college.
story in college.
All right, here we go.
I went to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
This is when you played. I'm not being funny. Or
No,
when
it
you,
was
okay.
when I was a bench warmer.
No, but you.
Anyways, it just so happened that they had the high school cheerleading tournament at the same hotel as the college football team was. Who am I?
Yeah, wear them the whole time.
Who am I?
You should totally wear them the whole time.
Nikki James.
Nikki James. A little more handsome though, but nowhere near as talented.
No, you're nowhere, not even close.
Not in that field anyway. This is very light. I mean, it almost looks like Kool-Aid. Are we drinking Kool-Aid?
I know. Let's get ready to see
I'll
what
do a water
the
here.
fuss was about. Real quick.
Did you bring weights back in?
Yeah, weights are back in.
When did you open that?
Just now.
Just now, really? Yeah, it does look like
Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid for real. Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
everybody.
before we get started, we're going to be drinking. We believe it's called Bingo. There's a wine castle in Fredericksburg,
He's not comfortable.
Texas.
Are you not
Oh,
comfortable?
no, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, no.
Oh, wait. Hold
I
on.
had
you
him.
doing?
I had him. Oh my god.
Okay, well, maybe he is comfortable.
I
Maybe
think-
lower.
I think
right
we
here.
got it.
Right there. Okay.
What's going on with you today? I mean, you're like,
What is happening right
I know.
Instantly busting my balls here.
That's
I know. You walk in, you made fun of his shirt.
It's bright.
But so yours is dark. What do you want me to?
It's awesome. I love it. It's just very bright. And I said, hey, your shirt's pretty bright. Thanks for.
Like you just met somebody for the first time.
And should I just not talk to them? when I
No,
meet them?
you can be
I'm
polite.
glad you said that. It's
Yeah.
bright.
I thought that was polite. It was a
Yeah.
compliment about his bright shirt. I happen to like bright things.
You know, it's not what you say, Brandon.
Oh boy. Here we go.
It's how you say it.
Okay. All right.
Kind of like this ad read.
Tell-
So this is Bingo. And again, it's BINGEAUX. Today, although we're shooting this today on Fat Tuesday, everybody.
Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday is Mardi
Mardi
Gras.
Gras.
And so I actually got this wine
We need
at the
beads.
Wine Castle in Fredericksburg
Yep.
a while back. It's called Bingo. And we're going to taste it for the first time today. Full disclosure, first look, Kool-Aid, right?
And it looks like Kool-Aid
All right. Well, we're going to introduce our guest and we're going to cheers and we're going to be drinking this today.
or tea.
Dan's
It might
gonna-
look like a tea.
Yeah, it could. John Nierman is our guest today, and we're going to get into a lot of stuff. But before we do that, John, Thank you for sleeping around with Dr. Brandon and Matthew, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy Fat Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Dan, taste this. Tell me what you think.
It doesn't taste like Kool-Aid.
It does. It tastes dang good.
It tastes pretty nice. It doesn't taste like tea.
What do you think? Oh, before we get started on you, John, I know you're our guest. How'd your date go? Saturday, right?
Put my shoes on.
Whatever you want.
Is that in the shot or no?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
fine.
put them on.
What do you mean?
It was okay. It was okay.
Okay,
I don't-
scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, dude, you're going to see her again.
Yeah.
You're going to see her again.
Probably not.
Really?
Probably not.
It's a Christmas
Why?
present.
I think we're different people.
Well, obviously
I
you're
think-
different people.
I
You
think
don't want to
we're-
date yourself.
I think- I mean, maybe I do though.
No,
You are a
man.
narcissist.
Oh,
You
man.
are a narcissist. So I'm being serious. So walk us through this. So we won't get in details of how, or the dirty stuff. Where did you
Nothing.
take her? Where did you meet her? At
I met her at a coffee shop.
Okay.
We were there for an hour and then
Okay.
she left.
And you stayed?
And I stayed. I
Hold
still
on.
had food. And,
Oh.
I'm very okay with that because we were talking, like, I don't know. I think
Did she eat all her food?
she was there 15 minutes before me.
Okay.
And I stayed late here and I was running late for her. So I was like a little bit behind
Yeah.
and I was.
was your opening line? Sorry, I'm late, but I was shooting a podcast.
No, was your
Kind
opening
of
line?
actually kind of was.
Or no, was your line like, your shirt is bright?
Oh, geez.
No.
Oh, no.
No, but
Okay.
I think my energy was a bit too much for her. She seemed pretty.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
She was like
I
really.
don't either.
Yeah.
I don't buy that at
I
all.
don't know. She was really.
Have you seen Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters movie?
Which one?
I've
There's a couple
The
different
new
ones.
one with the girl and the little boy, the kids, and they're like the grandkids.
Okay.
of,
Yeah.
I
I have not. I'm not. Are you going to give a spoiler alert for anybody who hadn't watched
No,
it?
there's a podcast kid on there that has a podcast, and it just made me think of our podcast. So,
What about him on his date? And
well, he was late to the date because he was shooting a podcast.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it'd be great if he used the line from that movie, and he showed up and he said, "Hey, my name's Podcast. My friends call me Podcast." and then she would say, "Well, why do your friends call you Podcast?" And he'd say, "Because I have a podcast."
But his name's Handsome Dan
Well, he'd say, "I'm Handsome Dan from my podcast."
because I'm Handsome Dan.
And
So hold on. So be honest. So he showed up late.
Just a little
how
bit.
late? Like 5:10?
No, I mean.
Oh, the voice. You hear it, John?
Maybe,
No.
maybe
Oh,
like
yeah.
maybe like 2 minutes.
Up and
Two.
up.
It-
Okay,
it
that's
really
not
wasn't
late.
that bad.
That's reasonable.
It really, yeah.
So she was early though.
Says the
She was
guy who
early.
walked
She was
into our
early.
shoot 1 minute late. You got to show up early, man.
I'm here.
You got to make her feel. This
Yeah.
coming from the twice divorced guy.
Why,
Listen,
why are you making her feel? What are you making her?
I don't know. I just love Dan so much. I want him to be happy. Okay.
Okay.
We'll get on our guest now. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, we'll find the
I
one.
appreciate it.
John Nierman,
That's right.
thanks for being here. Really do appreciate it, and I really
Pleasure.
do like the shirt.
So,
Thank you.
how is John here today? So, I met John. We were talking about this on the ride over. Actually, before we did the ride over, I was lucky enough to meet John in New Orleans, speaking of Fat Tuesday, at one of the Nierman courses that are given, and was totally fascinated. Again, people who've watched this podcast know that I knew absolutely zero about the dental world coming into my job with SomnoMed. And my boss, Lewis, said, "Hey, why don't you go check it out? You're right there in Louisiana. Tell me what you think." And we're just on the heels of people kind of coming back from COVID. So did we think it was last February, brother?
It was last May.
Last May. Okay,
Yeah.
last May.
Yeah.
And so people were just kind of getting out. So that's where I met John. I got to see the presentations, the courses. He's going to tell a story apparently later where they all had fun the second night when I had to go to my brother's wedding. It was in May.
Yeah.
So today I said, man, he would be perfect. So some secrets that you guys are going to learn about John that I already know because I do my research is we have a lot in common, man. Dude loves music and can play music. He's an amazing pianist. He's into jiu-jitsu. Not only is he into jiu-jitsu, we'll talk about he actually does it. No gi or gi or both?
Both.
Both. He surfs. He's good looking. Are you single?
That's what we have in common.
No. Help me out here.
I was going to say you don't do any of those things.
Well, that was going to be my ending joke.
I'm single, yeah.
Okay. I mean, look at this guy. All right. Thank God Handsome Dan's here. You would be Handsome John. But so I said, man, he would be a perfect guest. his company and his family's company are so integral. I just used that word wrong. Integral into what we do and what we promote, Brandon, in this podcast, that I said, this is a no-brainer. Plus he's fun and just so blessed to have you here, brother. All the way from
Jupiter, Florida.
Dang right. God's country where teachers sleep with kids and there's, isn't that where it happens? Florida?
Ooh.
Don't they do that there? I'm being serious.
I don't think they do that there.
In Florida, don't.
A lot of stuff happens in Florida.
I think
so.
that
I never see him go, ooh.
Well,
It's true.
I have kids in school.
Okay. The female teachers in Florida sleep with the male students.
I think that happens a lot of places.
I think it's just Florida.
Okay. Jupiter, Florida.
And Hulk Hogan's from Florida.
No, that is. Are you neighbors with Tiger?
No, he's on the island.
Yeah,
Okay,
his own island.
Yeah, he's in Jupiter Island, and there's this little bridge that separates them from us.
Okay.
And
You mean them, the golfers?
all the celebrities.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
just-
Celine Dion. There's a lot of
Now, have you ever? Can you just go across the bridge?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's literally called Jupiter Island, and you can go there and but their houses are kind of tucked in there.
Yeah.
But you can see it from Google Maps, and you can see, or from the inlet, so it's on the water.
Okay.
And Jupiter Island, what's cool about it is on one side you have the ocean, and then on the other side you have the intercoastal.
Love it.
So they got the best of both worlds,
Yep.
and
Efficient.
it's a really beautiful place. And then there's Jupiter, which is also beautiful, but not quite as higher end. But I mean, everyone's trying to move there right now, so
Yeah,
it is.
sure.
It's
Oh,
So
wow.
skyrocketing.
what are the Scientologists? I'm just going to throw it
That's
all
on
out
the
there.
other. That's on the Tampa side.
So like
that's-
Clearwater, right?
Yeah.
Where Hulk Hogan's from and all that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great things that happen in Florida.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Isn't
our side. We
Miami's in Florida?
yeah.
Isn't the Cocaine Cowboys or what's that? Isn't there a show, right?
Yeah. So Miami, that's like an hour and a half south of
Okay.
Jupiter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
literally just drove through your beautiful area for the first year for Key West. We decided to road trip it down and fly back.
Yeah.
And from Lafayette, Louisiana, and it was a hoot, man. We ended up stopping in Tallahassee, but we drove straight down, ended up staying in Key Largo. But yeah, drove through Jupiter, and
Yeah.
that's everybody says. They go, the island over there, that's where Tiger Woods. That's
right,
what I
Tiger
said.
Woods. I mean, that's what Jupiter's known for, though, is the golf. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
if-
Do you
if-
golf?
I do a little bit, but I peaked when I was in 5th grade, so that was like I kind of
Really?
I didn't want to, I won a trophy, and then I was like, you know what,
I'm done.
retired.
done.
Retired.
So
Brandon
yeah.
peaked at 5th grade also.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much everything, right? Height,
Like-
beard,
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yep, everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you like golf, right?
I love golf.
Yeah, so you would love it. They got some great courses down there.
Yeah, I try to play as much as possible, and it's not as much as I'd like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in the summertime, I'm pretty good. Probably once or twice a week.
Yeah.
It gets a little busier in the wintertime and harder depending on weather.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you should definitely come to Jupiter and check out some of those courses then.
Well, now
Okay.
that I've introduced you guys outside the insult of your shirt, I think you guys should golf
Insult.
together.
well, maybe we should.
I don't golf. I drive the cart though.
You can
Yeah,
come drive
right.
the cart.
Yep. Smoke
Yep.
cigars,
Yep.
have a drink,
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
some jokes.
Oh
I
yeah.
sing a little. I'm not that good. but-
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you need when you're golfing.
That's right.
know?
So, John, one of the questions I had for you coming into this is Brandon and I also meet with a lot of CEOs and a lot of businesses. And so right at the bat, I got to ask, there's got to be some pressure jumping into a business with your name on it, your family's name, right? Kind of tell us where you grew up and how you got into it. And where, like, Brandon was young when he said, man, I want to be a dentist. And this isn't a joke. He just knew. Sounds to me kind of like your path might have also kind of been for you as well as the family business. So kind of tell us where you grew up and a little bit about how you got involved into your current role. So.
Sure. So unlike Brandon, I didn't know that this is what I wanted to do when I was 3 years old, although my mom already had the company.
And what year, when did she start the company?
She started the same year I was born.
Okay.
So 1988.
Okay.
So 34 years now. And so, it's always been a part of my life.
Yeah. It's literally the whole, wow.
Yeah. And actually, a lot of people don't know this, but my dad was also involved at the beginning.
Okay.
And my dad was a restaurateur his whole life, and just an amazing mind, but always about restaurants and creating his own restaurants. He had his own restaurant when he was 21 in Chicago.
Wow.
Called the Dog House, and it
Great
served
name.
hot dogs, and it was outside of
That's
Chicago,
awesome. Yeah.
but it was he was like you. When he was 3 years old, he was dreaming about what his restaurant would look like.
Yeah.
Right. Like with you in your dental office,
Yeah.
you're like, just that's how some people are. They're born to do it.
Right.
I wasn't like that, but my parents, I learned so much from them. And so my dad was actually involved in helping start the business because of his background in owning restaurants and
Owning businesses. Yeah.
yeah, it's a business. And with the restaurants, so he actually had a restaurant in Jupiter that was owned by Burt Reynolds, and Burt Reynolds
wow.
made him the manager. So Burt Reynolds he put
Was.
Jupiter on the map.
He
about 30
did.
years
Actually,
ago.
yeah. It's Bertstown.
It is
We should
Bertstown.
give respect to the
So here's another
RIP, by the way.
fun fact that I don't tell people because it sounds weird, but my middle name is actually Burt, after Burt Reynolds. Because
Man, this is an exclusive.
it is. Yes.
You know what? I'm
So-
going to drink to that because he's been my hero for years. So I'm 48. So he's in my wheelhouse. Every movie, The Mustache, The Trans Am, Smoking the Bandit, Longest Yard. I mean, he's just the man.
Yeah.
He's just the man. So your middle name is Burt.
Yeah. So
After Burt freaking Reynolds.
yeah. So he was my godfather, basically. I mean, he didn't really, do much. But, but that was the relationship they had at the time.
Yeah.
And so and we'll talk more about Burt later.
Oh, I got it right here.
'cause,
Keep
yeah,
going.
But so my dad, he had to promote the restaurant and the bands that would come in.
Mhm.
So part of his job was a event promoter and a band promoter. And so he took a lot of those skills in the marketing and applied it to our business when it first got started in 1988, 1989, 1990.
Yeah.
And he had all these little tricks up his sleeve when it came to, going to the shows and how to get people engaged and how to, and handing out flyers, because that's what he did at the restaurant. So I learned a lot from him, and he taught me a lot of really good booth tips that we'll talk about that later too.
Yeah.
But so really both my parents were involved in this business. But when I grew up, I got into music. I got into piano pretty early on, which also was because of my dad. So actually both of my parents, but one of the reasons why I really stuck with music was because my dad's music friends from the backstage, the restaurant that he had with Burt Reynolds, he connected him with me, and his name was Copeland Davis, and he became a really strong piano mentor to me. So
A lot of people don't know who Copeland Davis is. Do you want to tell people?
Yeah.
who
So Copeland Davis, because he's really well known in South Florida.
Well, he's well known as a musician, but
Yes.
Yeah.
He is a pianist that, I mean, he's just absolutely incredible. Plays like pop, jazz, funk.
Yep.
And when you watch him play, it's like he has three hands. That's what everyone says.
Does a lot of sessions. He's worked with tremendous people besides yourself, John. He's worked with other musicians and stuff. So yeah,
he's incredible.
Yeah.
He's
So obviously you meet him through your dad, through Burt Reynolds' place.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, this is cool.
right.
I want to.
And I was already, doing a lot of piano, but
How old were you at the time?
I started playing piano when I was 8.
Okay.
But that was classical and just taking lessons. My friend got into it, so I did it with her, and then I stuck with it. And I actually wanted to quit a lot of times but my mom always said, all right, just go this one last lesson,
more.
right?
Yeah.
And
God, I
then
wish my mom would have made me go to piano lessons.
that's the thing. She made me stick with it. And the reason why I wanted to quit, because I wouldn't practice. And so I was embarrassed. And I think that's something that a lot of kids deal with is that's why they want to quit, is because they didn't practice and then they're embarrassed about it. And they don't want to own up to that.
I love that.
Right.
There's so many messages to take through there. But
I mean, if you take the pressure off of the practicing, and so for me, my mom she'd say, okay, I know you want to quit, but just get through this one lesson. My teacher at the time, didn't hurt that she was gorgeous. So I did like to go and see her. But
again, Florida, older woman, teacher, just saying.
Hey, no, she was amazing, but
not so far.
she had this quality to her that was really soft,
Mhm.
and she would play these pieces for me, and then I would just like fall in love. I was like 10 years old, and then I'd come back from the lesson. I'd tell my mom, okay, I think I
You're
want to
floating.
stick with it.
You're floating there.
Oh
man.
yeah, I mean,
10
I was
years old,
totally in love, and so that kept me through that period.
Yeah.
And then she introduced me to Chopin, and then that's when I realized that music is something incredible.
The lady did, or your mom? I apologize.
My teacher,
Okay.
she played this piece for me.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, let's move beyond some of this kiddie stuff. I'm going to play this basic Chopin piece for you. She played it for me, and my jaw dropped, and I might have started crying. I
love that,
don't remember.
dude.
I was 13 years old.
I love that.
And
Heck yeah.
and it basically that's what started me really on that journey of music.
Wow.
Now, where in there did the Copeland Davis mentorship?
I was about 17.
Okay, so that was a little bit later.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's about 4 years from when I was 13 to 17
That's right in high
where
school.
I really started getting into music, but classical.
Right.
And then so in high school, I got really into it, and I joined the choir
Mhm.
because
Nothing wrong with that.
the teacher,
That's what I did.
she wanted me to play piano for the students.
Mhm.
And so I couldn't sing, but I was the
Hey,
pianist.
I couldn't sing either, but I was in choir.
Right.
Damn right.
Yeah, but you didn't play the piano.
I didn't. See what you're doing?
So
I'm saying his story's a little better.
His story's way better than mine. We know this, but again,
I'm just kidding.
so
happy Mardi Gras.
Love you.
Love
so
you all.
there's a couple of years where
Can I ask
was
an honest
really-
question? Because I do this a lot with
Yeah.
our guests. So I was thinking about this. So 13 through 17, right?
Yeah.
Brandon and I have talked about this on the podcast. Handsome Dan has witnessed it. I try to tell people, and I've actually had my friends come in, where I went to high school. It was freaking cool to be in band, to be in choir. I mean, all us athletes did all that. We loved singing on the weekends. My buddies would bring out their guitar. I mean, it was just a different era. You're way younger than me.
right.
13 through 17 in Florida, you're playing classical. Now you're part of the choir. Was it welcomed? Was it a cool thing, or were you still kind of, and if you don't have to, I mean,
No,
I'm not,
It
trying
wasn't cool.
to, okay.
Yeah.
No.
I will also
Absolutely
say
not.
I think it was really cool whenever you were in high school too. It's not shade.
Oh.
It's not shade.
No,
but,
no.
But my dad was like in band and also played football.
Yeah.
And that was cool
Yeah.
to be in band.
If you
and
do
play
both,
football.
that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But if you only do band, it's not cool.
No, so some
No.
of my best friends never played a sport in their life. They were
Right.
what people call band geek. I don't call them that, dude. I
Right.
love
So yeah, maybe,
Okay.
so in your time, absolutely.
Well,
your time.
That's where I was trying to be careful.
Well,
In
and I would
1956,
say,
I
I would say your time and place
I agree.
because
The area,
Right.
Yoakum,
Yukon.
Yukon,
is
I was about to say
my-
Yoakum. Interesting, because my dad
Dwight Yoakam,
Yeah. Maybe it's more regional.
Yukon, Oklahoma,
definitely is regional.
is definitely, especially with the country stuff.
It's a special
yeah,
place.
it's different.
And I'm not being funny.
It's different
You're right.
than
No,
other
I would
places.
visit so I played sports for a while, and I go back to their hometowns, and I'm like, let's go dancing. And they looked at me like I'm on Footloose. Footloose, like, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I love dancing. So back to you, enough about me.
Right.
So 13 through 17, you're like, well, it wasn't exactly cool, but you were in.
It wasn't that cool, but actually when I joined the chorus, the girls,
I
the,
know.
the choir girls, they did like the pianist because I stood out more than
I
the
bet.
singer.
Yeah.
So
And you're
that-
like thanking your mom
then it
every
became
day,
cool.
going,
Yeah.
Mom,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'll tickle these ivories.
so I was cool to the choir girls for sure. So that was nice. But then, so then 17, I started learning from Copeland Davis, and
Now you're hanging out at bars, in all fairness. Your dad's restaurant /
right,
Okay.
yeah, basically.
And now you're seeing a whole different
yeah,
level of woman. This ain't soft Chopin playing.
no,
Yeah, they're called groupies, by the way. guys. Fair?
No, not for me.
Okay. But for
no.
Copeland.
For Copeland, probably.
Okay.
But so then I had to make a choice, right? When you're 17, okay, what am I going to do? And I had a choice between going to music school, trying to pursue that, because at the time that was what I loved. And Copeland went to music school, and he was telling me, okay, here's your options. Yeah, here's what you can do. And he had stories for days. Yeah. A lot of them were maybe not want to go to music school though. Yeah. Because it's
my buddies who did piano in college, it was rough, man.
Oh yeah.
Hours and hours every day in a room with a dude.
And then what's after that?
And then theory. You take music theory and then
And then what do you do after that? So it wasn't that tough of a choice because
really,
I mean it was, but logically, I mean, you write the pros and cons, and I'm looking
at 17, I didn't write shit. Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Like if it felt good, but
yeah.
So what happened?
Well, I decided to go to Georgia Tech. I actually got into Georgia Tech.
Great.
And somehow, which music was actually the only reason why I got in, because my grades weren't that good. But I wrote this essay. My sister helped me out with this essay.
All right, the truth's coming out. Did you hear
all
that?
about the essay when it comes to some of these school applications.
Yep.
And we had read an article that Georgia Tech was trying to diversify with more artistic type of students. And we said, okay, instead of just engineers, right? They wanted to bring in more, of the
diverse.
Yeah. Just more creative side.
Liberal arts.
Right. So, so I wrote my whole thing about what I just told you guys.
Yeah.
And, my sister embellished it for me, and somehow I got in.
So you went to Georgia Tech?
Yes.
God, I swear I didn't know this.
Yeah.
So I'm a legacy, meaning my mom's dad was a bigwig over there. Engineering, his huge.
Oh yeah.
So when I was playing baseball, I thought, man, I'm going to go to Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah. I'm going to Georgia Tech. They're good. My grades not so much. ACT, not so much. I didn't have a sister to take my ACT.
Right.
Class.
Yeah. See,
but I have nothing. God's honest truth, and I have friends who've gone there. What a great freaking
it was awesome.
Yeah.
School. And you're right. In my day, they didn't have those options. It was an engineering school, guys. I mean, it was hardcore. Even athletes, you had to take. You could either PE, what they call it, not even kinesiology. I think it was PE or that. Okay, so you go to Georgia. Oh,
yeah.
The world is your oyster,
so
young
at this
John.
time, though, you're kind of like, I'm essentially choosing to not give up music, but not to pursue music.
Yeah.
To maybe the degree that you had thought going into that you might.
Yeah, I was pretty much done.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I went in as engineering.
Oh, shit.
Actually. So
you did do engineering. He wrote this whole essay on, we need to diversify, and I'm doing this music.
Well,
did I tell you about the soft lady with Chopin?
They didn't have other majors, but they wanted more, balanced
engineers.
People.
No, it's true. It's like Colorado School of Mines does. A lot of these schools, they don't just want that focused kid that is all engineer. They do want that, but they also want
because what they really want is they want people to start at engineering and then become business leaders and get their MBA and be the hybrid and do both. And so that's not what I did, but
So you walk on campus, Georgia Tech. You know your major right away?
I was physics at first, which
good.
I don't know what I was thinking. That pros and cons list. That I was like, physics. Like that's just as bad as music, right? Like, I don't know.
That's why I didn't even do a list. See, we're splitting hairs here. So you go to Georgia Tech, and this whole time, your mom and father, or just your mom at this point, is running this company.
At that point, it's just my mom. Yeah.
Okay, so all this time they've had this company going. Was there any time and I don't mean pressure, like did you ever feel like, and not a parachute, right? Is that what they call it, or a soft land? Like, did you ever go, well, I'll do my thing. I'm going to go work for them, or did you feel pressure
not
to
at
go?
The time.
Okay,
yeah, and I had been around it my whole life, and so I had worked there. I'd done marketing, software testing, a lot of testing. My mom used to trick me into, when I was really young, into testing the software, looking for bugs. And she told me it was a game that would play. So, so I was very immersed in the business just from like
Man, brother, you have been.
I knew what was going on, and the business was started in the house too. So that was just my life growing up. I'd come home from school and the dogs would bark and people would be on the phone. So we'd have salespeople there at the house,
Wow.
and then cause a whole
Yeah.
problem. And then I'd go into my room until 5-6 o'clock when everyone left, and that was just and then we had this little office room, and I'd go in there and like play with the fax machine and stuff. And
Dan, a fax machine
clips.
is, hold on one second. So a fax machine. So before we could like send his emails out, we used to be able to do fax machines. Fax where you'd actually send something out and it would, then it would get to somebody else.
I don't think
I didn't describe that well.
Well, I'm not even sure you understand how a fax machine works.
How does a fax machine work?
Faxes are still huge in dentistry too.
Trust me, don't get me started. That was kind of where I'm going with this. That's kind of where I'm going.
How many
with this.
offices you go into that still have a fax machine?
Everyone.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, they're I know,
Do you have
Brandon.
one?
We've talked.
No.
You're at a
Fuck no.
different. You're at a different level.
Right.
No,
go
we
back
have a
to-
fax number and a digital
E-fax,
fax,
yeah,
e-fax.
yeah.
But no, when I bought my practice, I went back there and the guy had a fax machine still there, and there was like a phone line set up for it and all that shit.
Mhm.
And I
Right.
just took it, and I like literally like the day after we got in, I took it to the dumpster and was like, cancel that phone line. We don't need to pay for that shit.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you're in college, and you start off in physics.
Yeah.
Then apparently you go to engineering.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to us about college.
Yeah.
Georgia
So
Tech,
Georgia Tech
man.
was awesome.
Man.
Right in Atlanta. Right
Oh,
downtown, midtown.
Hot Atlanta.
Oh yeah. So
So
very
good.
different from Jupiter, Florida too. So that
Oh,
was that was awesome. Great experience. But I realized real quick that high school physics is a whole different level than Georgia Tech physics.
Yeah.
Wait, you offered physics in high school? Not being funny.
We
Okay.
had physics in high school.
We did.
That's why I went into physics.
I'm
'cause
sorry, UConn High School. If we
it was-
did, I don't know.
At surface level, I love the principles,
Yeah.
like why things work the way they do
Right.
in the physical universe.
My best friend's totally into physics.
But-
Total, like had to read
Yeah,
books.
It's
weird.
cool. It's really cool. But
Right.
then Georgia Tech, it's like you go so deep into it, you're not even
And it's hard. It's hard to
You
understand
can't
it with the
apply it.
hangover. You know,
sure.
not that
Oh yeah.
I drank in college.
But I realized right away, I was like, my brain doesn't not work this way.
yeah,
I'm gonna have some serious problems if I
yeah.
try and
So then, but
pursue
hold
this.
on. But then you switched to engineering.
Then I switched to mechanical engineering,
Okay.
thinking that okay, now I can see how this can be applied to
Dude, you're an
things.
artist. You're such an artist. and
Right.
You're trying to, what
Yeah.
they say, a square peg in a round hole.
Oh yeah, so that took another year, and I was like, then I had another crisis where I was like, okay, do I drop out and go back to music school, and like what am I gonna do? And instead, I went to business, the management department of Georgia Tech, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
And all the engineers make fun of the people that go to management. They call it the M train, because the people that can't hang at Georgia Tech engineering, they go to the M train,
Yeah.
right?
You know what? That was my nickname in high school.
The M train, was it?
The M train.
I
No,
can
it
see that.
wasn't. No, it
I can
wasn't.
see that.
Just
But,
made that up.
Yeah, man. So that was my path.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was actually, that's when, once I went to business school, that's when all of a sudden things started to click, and I was like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
What I'm learning here, I could apply to the business, the
Yeah.
family business. And we did all these projects, and I would always use my company, my mom's company, as the project, as the example. Like,
Dude, that's great. No,
right.
that's.
So
Yeah.
so I started really, the gears were turning.
Thank
I'm
God
like,
she didn't
okay.
own a strip club. Just saying.
It could have been, it could have been different, but it was good. That's really where things started to come into place for me mentally, where it's like, okay, this could actually, so the things I was learning, I mean, it's all theory, but I was starting to really think about it all the time.
But
And-
John, you're at 19, 20 maybe at that time.
Yeah. 20 years old.
That's a gift because, even for me, and I'll own it, to have things figured out and to go, oh, wait, again, this is not funny. It's one of the reasons I admire the man to my left here. Not everybody just has that tunnel.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm doing. This is it, man.
Yeah.
And for you to test out a little bit and then the light bulb go off where you go, whoa, oh, I get it. This is my path. But I still think you're an artist. And we'll get to that. But I still think you're this passionate artist that is, now you're kind of navigating, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was my journey into that moment.
So you're taking these business classes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, everything I'm learning here, I can apply to
exactly
to the business,
mom's business,
business. Yeah. And so did you start like peppering her and giving her like throughout school where you call
Mom, check out this project.
Hey, you need to do this.
Yeah.
You need to do
I
this.
did exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Well, absolutely. I started, talking about, hey, I just learned this thing. Like,
yeah.
Are you guys doing something like this?
John, can I ask a personal question?
Yeah.
And if we need to edit it, we will.
Sure.
You said your father started, then he wasn't, then your mother had it. Please, did he just leave? Was there a death? Was there?
Oh no. So they got divorced when I was about 13.
Okay.
But they're still friends.
Okay.
So everything's, family dynamics are very cool.
Yep.
I
mean, you're talking to two guys that are divorced. And so I had to ask because I always see your mother. Like, always see your mother, right?
Yeah.
And so when you said that, I just want to make sure that if something did. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so after they got divorced, he started a new restaurant that he had for about 14 years, and he just sold it this year.
Oh, wow.
And is he
So he
still
just
in
retired.
Jupiter? Is he still in the area?
Yeah.
Cool,
He
man.
started breakfast and lunch place, and it was amazing. And it's still, he sold it so they're keeping all the recipes and everything.
Cool,
So
man.
That's sweet.
he's officially retired. He just retired. He's 74. So
Nice.
so he's all set. He's good.
So going back to that, then I apologize for veering off. So Brandon asked a great question. You're peppering. I like that. Peppering your mom.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah.
How about this? And how about that? And so,
Well, because I can tell you, my brother just graduated with his MBA from Stanford a year ago. And that kid's a genius. And
somebody in the family.
yeah, no kidding, right?
You know
And
what I'm
so
saying, Dan?
I'm constantly calling him and like, hey, if I have a business idea, I'm definitely calling
cool.
him.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out what he thinks. Now, of course, he wants to get all super analytical about it.
Yeah.
And then he wants variables, and then he wants this, and then projection. And
Follow the law, integrity.
So,
Yeah.
now, so you graduated from Georgia Tech in what was that, 2012, 27?
2010.
210.
Yeah.
Okay. My math fairly decent for
Yeah, the
UT
range. You're right in the middle of that range.
Okay,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You're good.
And so that's 12 years ago. And
Yeah.
so then what? Where'd you go? What'd you do after that?
Sounds like you went
Or
right in,
did you
yeah.
go right into the business?
I did. I went right in, and
Dude, you've been in that business your whole
right.
life.
Yeah. And I went full time right after college. So
Like your
12
whole
years.
life, John.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. Like, your
Yeah.
whole life. You've
Yeah.
been,
Yeah.
it started when you were born.
So so this industry, the dental sleep medicine industry, I know so many people, and it's just, I feel very connected to it. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's it's like it's quite a small industry as you know. So
I think that's why John likes me, because I'm so new. Like, I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
I don't, I
Yeah.
haven't been jaded. I mean, I'm hanging out with this guy, but I haven't been jaded or anything. But it's true. You have to. Your mom's like an icon, dude.
Yeah.
So when I hear Nierman,
Yeah.
I think Rose,
Yep.
and I think dental writer.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of arms because you also have the CE courses, you also have the
Yeah.
billing company, you also have the TMD side of things. You have which I guess dental writer essentially is a TMD and sleep
yes.
side
All right,
of
for
things.
our listeners
So-
and me, TMD is
Temporomandibular disorder,
okay.
TMJ
Should I have
disorder.
already known that?
Yeah, TMJD, whatever you want to call it. So tell us a little bit about, I guess I want to know about the company, because I've only worked with Nierman this much.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I've had a good
Why are you
experience.
apologizing? Just you've
Well,
worked with
because
him,
they
man.
probably would like me to work with them more.
He's our guest. Just answer the question.
Well, I forgot the question now.
Well, you want to know
Nierman.
more? Yeah.
Tell us about Nierman. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about kind of maybe where the business started from what you recall, or what Rose would say in terms of where it was in the 80s, because the sleep industry is light years beyond anything that it was in 1988 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there wasn't a dental sleep industry.
There really wasn't. And so
Yeah.
I'm assuming it started out more as a TMD
Yes.
business. But tell us about the business. What's the business do? Where's the focus of the business, and what's your progression in the business?
Yeah, that's a great question. Nice lead in.
There was 4 questions there, and they were
Yeah.
all 4 good questions.
All 4. Yeah. So, and you're spot on. So our actual business name is TMJ Practice Management Associates,
Okay.
because in
I did not know
1988,
that.
in 1988, when she created the company, so she was a hygienist working in a busy TMJ practice,
Mhm.
doing a lot of cases in West Palm Beach, Florida. So Doug Phillips was her doctor, and they were doing medical billing back then for it, and she figured out this system to maximize the reimbursement. And
Well, I'm glad there's no more issues with that anymore.
yeah, well,
I'm just kidding.
we can go.
I'm kidding.
It's
Go
been a whole with
Yeah.
TMJ. It's a whole different thing. But at the time, there was really good reimbursement if you knew how to document everything
Sure.
properly, and if you knew the right codes. And so she created a manual that had all that documentation that you need, what codes to use, what medical codes. So with medical versus dental, with medical, you have ICD diagnosis codes.
Yep.
You don't have those in dental. And then you have the CPT, the procedure codes that you're billing for to medical insurance. So she put this all together, all the documentation too,
Wow.
and flow charts for the processes. And it became something that was, it hadn't been done before, just the manual itself. She started sharing it with other practices, selling it, going to trade
Good for
shows,
her,
setting up a little
man.
booth, selling
Yeah.
this manual,
Man.
right? It was just a manual. And then, everyone was telling her, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is so needed.
Yeah.
But the documentation was still a problem because dentists weren't used to writing the documentation in that way, in medical, framing it in medical terminology and medical model. So she hired a developer at the time, and this was in like 1990, and they wrote this DOS program that you clicked on the exam and the questionnaire, and it turned it into your documentation, a narrative report.
It was right there.
So yeah, so that was the origins, and it was all TMJ and for medical billing. And then that started growing and became more fleshed out. Then Windows became a thing.
Yeah.
And then they wrote the Windows program, but the first program was in DOS. I mean, it was that long ago. But she says it was an amazing program, and because it did what was needed to be done. which was
Absolutely.
that
How many
documentation.
people? Yeah.
So, so this was over 30 years ago, and so way ahead of our time,
Yep.
way ahead. And then all those early academies like the AACP, she got all those doctors on that early version of Dental Writer.
Nice.
And this was before the AADSM existed. The AADSM is celebrating their 30th year anniversary this year for their meeting.
Yeah.
Our company is 34 years old.
Wow.
So this was all TMJ, all
Right.
medical billing, but it's that same model,
Mhm.
same exact model, medical billing for dental procedures. So when dental sleep started becoming more prominent and recognized, and insurance started covering it, then she was already set up to just add those forms, and she was working with those TMJ doctors. Those were the first doctors that were really getting into sleep
Mhm.
because it's so correlated, it's all connected. And a lot of those doctors were helping her with the sleep forms. And so she added that sleep module and the sleep forms. I'm not sure what year that was, but that was the progression from TMJ into sleep for our
So
company.
you go away for 4 years, meaning you go to college, 4 or 5, and then you come back saying, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I think it's where one of Brandon's questions was, when you come back in, what role are you like? Well, obviously you're
Yeah,
the son, so there's got to be like this pressure. I don't know.
Right. Well, when I first started, I started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Now we're here.
Oh, here we
Now we're
go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You know, I came in just as a
Gotta love air supply.
as doing sales. You know,
Mhm.
I came in 2011 or 2010, and I wanted to do everything. I just wanted to,
Sure.
you know, just start doing sales and start connecting with people and meeting all the doctors and going to shows. And so I started traveling 2-3 times a month. We talked about that earlier.
We did, brother.
And
Yep.
so those first couple of years, I was just on the road constantly. One of my first meetings was Kent Smith
Yeah.
in
up in Dallas.
2010.
Mhm.
And for some reason, the first couple of my shows I did, my mom had to leave. And so she left me at Kent Smith. This is my very first meeting.
But you're not a toddler. I
No,
mean, you're-
but
okay.
But when it comes to these shows, especially at the time, like we contributed to the medical billing conversation.
Right.
So
She did that on purpose.
she leaves early in the first day, and Kent Smith starts talking about insurance, and the dynamic was he would always
loop you in.
Yeah.
so
Rose,
that
bring
you-
us in.
You're the
Yeah.
you're the expert here.
yeah. So this is like my
So,
first
yeah,
day,
yeah.
and he's
and
asking
he's
me,
hungover again.
Oh.
John's like, oh,
like, oh, what you know.
I'm kidding, John.
What do you recommend for this code to, you know, when the patient presents with this? And I'm just like, well, yeah.
Were you able to do it?
I mean, I said something. I hope.
Well,
those,
hold on.
I hope
No,
those
that
doctors
doesn't-
that were there. I hope they didn't get in trouble. But no. I mean, I had the
I know, I
basics
know.
down, but it was nerve wracking.
Yeah.
I
Kent's
knew
a good
nothing.
man.
I
He's
knew-
a good man. So I'm sure
He is.
maybe in jest to kind of put you on the spot. I have a feeling your mom left on purpose. I don't know why.
It might have been a whole ploy. with
Yeah,
both
let
of
you
them,
let you do
but,
it, man.
you know,
Let
so
you do it.
that happened a couple times, but it's like sink or swim,
It's
right?
like time to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was. So I just started going to shows
Mhm.
and just
Just learning.
learning and talking to people, and I did that for many years. And so but the transition has been really great because over the years now it's been 12 full-time
Well,
years.
and can I say congratulations, sir?
Thank you.
So what? Yeah.
So
So
John
what's-
just got a recent promotion.
Yeah. What's the role grown to now?
Right. So now I'm the president. I'm officially in charge of
Yeah.
New
Look
York
at that.
Practice Management.
I love it, dude.
It's been about a year, I
Yep.
think. And but it's been a couple of years where I've really been, you know, I've had the vision.
Yeah.
And maybe we can talk a little bit about the vision, because that's
Brandon
kind of what
loves-
your
I'd
question
love to
is.
hear
Dude,
the vision.
this is his
Yeah,
wheelhouse.
that would be
Yeah.
my follow-up
Yeah.
question. I'd love to hear the vision for,
Yeah.
you know, where you think
Mhm.
Nierman's going
Yeah.
in the future. Is this still, you know, what percentage of your business is dental writer
Right.
versus courses versus
Yeah.
education versus medical billing? What do you see changing? I have more, probably 6
Okay.
of them. You know, yeah. So tell us the vision. Tell us
Yeah.
your show. You talk.
We talk to very smart people. I think they can handle 4 or 5 questions in a row.
He's very
Yeah.
smart. I could probably.
He
give him-
went to Georgia
I could probably
Tech.
give him 19
He went to
questions.
Georgia Tech for
I love
that's
that.
it.
I love
Okay.
that.
All right.
I want one of those. Handsome
One
Dan.
of those.
So before I get into the vision,
Sure.
Would you buy a sign like that if we had it on our website? Like at least $250? Would you for $250? $3?
We need better picture.
Free shipping?
But
Free shipping?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, you were getting
Appreciate it.
serious. So before we go into the vision and the
Yeah.
questions, I'm not being
Yeah, yeah.
funny.
Oh,
but I
okay.
think you asked great questions.
No,
No.
so
Yeah.
You really do. Yes.
Yes.
well, I mean, I think, you know, with my transition into the top leadership role, I've come to understand how important vision is. And so I wanted to kind of, you know, talk to you about that too, because, you know, with your businesses
Yeah.
and everything, I mean, that's something that, would you agree? I mean, that's how important having a vision, a clear vision for the team. is
You
for
know, I
yourself.
think a clear
You said
vision.
team.
I think I'm glad you said team, by the way.
Yep. No, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think having a clear vision for the team and the team understanding, because core values, first of all, and the vision are both really integral
Mhm.
to, your team being the right people or not being the right people. And if the team is on board with your core values and they share those core values, I think that's when you're going to see people that are working towards your vision in a much more, consistent and compatible way, as opposed to having people who maybe aren't core value fits.
And you weed them out fast.
I love, so we run the EOS system. We'll talk about EOS another time, but I am the visionary. And so, the visionary is, here's the vision, here's the goals, here's where we're going, here's what we're doing. It's the ideas, and it's the, I'm waking up in the middle of the night and having this, and we're going to market this, and we're going to, and then you got to have people around you that are the ones that are able to kind of implement and make that happen. And that's where Max falls in a lot of our businesses. That's where some management teams fall. The integrator role. Yeah. That's where Handsome Dan falls in terms of being able to, and Matthew in terms of being able to, make things run. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I love it. I've gotten into EOS a little bit, but it's something I want to dive into more, because that's
I can talk
we're talking about.
Hours on it. We've been running it for 3 years now.
That's awesome.
And starting to push it into other businesses as well. Yeah. And it's just been, it's been life-changing.
Yeah. And so that's, for us, that's exactly what one
How
of
many
the things I'm
employees
trying to,
with the company?
we have 36 employees, and then contractors as well. So about 40 or so.
So y'all are about, how many do you have? You have way more than that? I
Well,
honestly don't know.
Between the different businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, our biggest business is the sleep, the sister companies,
Right.
Austin Sleep Solutions, Sleep Better Austin. We have probably right about that, about 35 or so.
That's what I was thinking. So y'all have that common too, because it's not too big, right? But there's still that solid.
Yeah.
But your mom is still the patriarch, the leader.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
She's the CEO.
Okay.
And you could say she's the visionary as well, but I also am the visionary.
Okay.
I'd say, especially for our our actual goals, I'm the visionary. And
have you guys had? I hate to interrupt because I know you got so many good things to say about.
We got
Nierman.
plenty of time, by the way.
Yeah,
we got plenty of time.
Have you guys had any? It's hard sometimes working with family.
I was thinking.
And so it'd be interesting, because I've had conversations with my mom about business where I've just straight up told her, "You're fucking wrong, Mom. Like, we're not doing that. You need to do like something else."
Right.
Have you guys had that conversation?
I think you just answered.
No. So,
or have you, are you guys in line with everything, or is there just a trust where you can argue about things and then what comes out of it is good for the business?
This is something that I think what makes our dynamic with my mom and I very special, and why I'm so strong on our company is because my mom and I have such a really great relationship when it comes to business.
Okay.
It's incredible. I don't think it's normal how we're able to be in the same space and connect. I mean, it's almost like we're the same person in some ways. Where
there's a movie like that I've seen called Psycho, where they
no,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. There's not.
It's weird. It's definitely, but I'm very grateful for it.
No, I think if you're on the same page and intuitive, like you share the vision. I think what Brandon's asking though is getting, and I apologize if I'm asking for you, in getting this new promotion. Are you able to then kind of take the mantle from the patriarch and say, this is the new vision?
Yeah.
Even though it's shared.
I want to know what's changing. I want to know, have you guys had any of those discussions where it's just like, no, we got to do this instead?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that, and so that's, I guess what I'm saying with our relationship being so good is that we can have those tough conversations and no one takes it personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's just business. Right.
Yeah.
I got it.
It's just business. It's not personal. Mm-hmm. It's like The Godfather.
That's right.
And that's it. I mean, we're so business minded when it comes to those conversations that even if we start raising our voices or just,
Right.
we have different opinions on things. We both know that we're both trying to do what's best for the business.
There you go.
And so we're aligned in that aspect. And so we never fight about it.
Yeah. Well, and you can say fight. You can say
Disagree,
conflict.
argue.
There's a amount of
Wrestle.
conflict that's really healthy,
Right.
in a business. And so I think we poured it all.
No, he's going to give me some of his.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't like his.
So when we
Thank you, sir.
meet, Max and I, my business
Yeah.
partner, and my CEO or COO,
He calls him his
Jessica.
life partner.
Well, Max,
Yeah.
but Jessica, Nancy, Rebecca, we have these leadership meetings, and quarterly we lock ourselves in a room offsite for a day, and we go through vision, and we go through rocks, and we go through goals, and we follow the EOS system.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that there was a pretty good string of those where every quarter, the day after a quarterly, somebody on the leadership team quit.
Oh,
And it always boiled down to core
quit the job or
values.
just quit the leadership
Core
team?
values.
Quit the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, quit the job.
Wow.
And part of what pushed them out was what I consider to be healthy conflict.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, and nobody's right or wrong, and that's the beautiful thing about it. It's like, hey, like you said, we all want what's good for the business. We just have maybe different ideas of how that goes. And when you start having that conflict, it brings up things that other people aren't always thinking about. And then you're able
Yes.
to say, okay, well, shit, I didn't think about it that way. You
Right.
got a good point, but here's my point. And then they're like, well, shit, I didn't think about it that way. And then so you get 3 or 4 points up on the board, and then you're able to break it down and come up with something that hopefully is going to push the business forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with us, it's exactly that. It's and it always, the core values I think is really important too. And the core values I kind of identified based on the 20 years
Sure.
before I was involved.
Right.
And I mean, she's been so successful and because of those core values, and I identified them, and it's dedication, innovation, and support. And those are our 3 core values. And it's the dedication. I mean, she's constantly, just there for her clients and the industry. She's always been there. And the innovation, just how she created the business in the first place. That's really important to our business. Just constantly trying to innovate and think about how can we make things easier? How can we optimize systems for practices? And then the support. And that's something that a lot of software and technology companies seem to lack. And that's something that's always been really important to us because we know that it's not just about software. It's not just about technology. It's about people, helping people. And so those are those core values that I'm really strong about.
Right.
But then when it comes to those, how do we get there?
Mm-hmm.
That's really where we have these discussions, and I can get really passionate about and really strongly opinionated about.
John, is it a fair question to say that because of your mother's experience and her place in the standing in the community is so valued, but also is there an age difference? Meaning, you're going to be dealing with newer dentists, newer technology. Brandon's example of throwing out
Yeah.
the fax machine, that there's just a different way of doing things
Yeah,
than
absolutely.
there was back then.
Yeah.
And like you said, I love how you said that, Brandon. It's not right or wrong. It's just different.
Yeah.
And now that you have the mantle
Yeah.
and the power to go, listen, this is the way we need to take this company. And that was one of Brandon's questions was, so talk to us about the new vision. I know you have
Yeah.
the new.
Okay.
So
All right.
Here
we
I
go.
know Brandon loves this stuff.
Here
He's
we
going to
go.
geek out
All
in this. So,
So the vision,
and we will do a cutaway. I think we talked about this. We'll make it work, Dan.
so
No porn. Stop looking at porn. Just pay attention. We'll probably do like a,
Hey,
he loves it.
he's got a vision he's about to share.
I have a vision.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
All right.
Sorry.
So my vision for Nierman Practice Management and for the industry is to make it easy, to make things easier for practices, to make things more accessible across the board. And I really like the term easy. And that was actually something a client gave to me. I was at a seminar, one of our own courses, and I was talking about, and we're going to launch our new Dental Writer Plus software. And if you're not familiar with Nierman, we do education, we do systems, we have systems support, and if you're in need of any of those things, we can get you covered. And I sit back down. I was actually live streaming it, so I go back to the camera, and then he passes me a napkin where he wrote the acronym EASY, and it said, this is Dr. Alan Walker, by the way, who's a client of ours. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a great guy, amazing dentist. And this napkin, it says EASY, and it says education and systems/support for you, which is the Y, so EASY. And he goes, this is you. And I look at this napkin and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
You summed it up in this acronym. It's easy. It's all about making it easy. I loved it. I loved his creativity,
Yeah, the acronym's great.
and it made sense. But just to pull it back, the easy part, it really, that's what I've seen over the years is what makes the difference. From the last 12 years, when I look at all of our clients that we've had and the clients that we still have, we have clients that have been with us for 30 years, but we also have clients that they've been with us for a couple of years and then they're not clients anymore. And when I look at why, a lot of times it's because they're not doing sleep anymore, they're not doing medical billing anymore. But why? Or maybe a lot of times it's because they say, oh, they're just not using Dental Writer anymore. And it always comes down to, it wasn't easy enough for the team to use. And so that's the vision, is to make it easy across the board, make everything easier, make everything more accessible. So for us, how can we apply that to our business? How can we apply that to our software, which is our core solution? So we have our new software called Dental Writer Plus, and the last 2 or 3 years of development on that was all about how can we make this program easy for the team? Because if the team are using it, if it's not a big deal, if they can just open up the program and intuitively kind of know what to do and just start using it,
right?
That's easy, right? They're going to start using it. We know it works. We know it's going to do the things they need. It's going to generate the documentation they need, the codes, the claims, the billing, all the steps they need to complete those cases. If it's easy for the team, then it's going to be implemented, and they're not going to cancel. They're going to be long-term clients. They're going to be doing more cases. They're going to be
They'll be getting reimbursed. They'll be getting paid.
Right.
They'll be happy.
Helping more patients. So it's all connected, and it all, for us, how can we do it? We can make it easier. So that's been my vision. And we just launched our Dental Writer Plus and about 3 months ago, and the feedback's been amazing so far. And so that's the future of Nierman, is Dental Writer Plus.
Okay.
It's not the courses. It's not.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about kind of where your kind of vision.
I mean, the
for
courses
that too,
are
Bob.
important because our philosophy is still education, systems, and support. That's our philosophy. If you're trying to, as a practice, if you're trying to implement something new, you need all those 3 things. If it's something like sleep, which is very different from other services, education, systems, and support for the team, especially. And so we have the courses, we have the software, the systems, and the support. We have the medical billing service. That's the support. You don't have to have your team call the insurance companies. We can do it for you. And with Dental Writer Plus, we've integrated seamlessly with our medical billing service, where everything is all connected, fully end-to-end integration. All the data is all in one place. The communication's all in one place. And there's no email, there's no fax.
Yeah.
Well, you can e-fax, but it all goes inside of Dental Writer. So
now, can you still bill on your own too if you want to?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's also what sets us apart too, because for us, it's not just about sleep. It's about all the procedures that are eligible for medical billing, and we make that accessible for practices. So
what are those
surgeries,
procedures? Yeah, you can run through them.
all right. So if a dentist wants to bill medical insurance, they can do it for sleep apnea appliances. That's number one. That's usually covered in most insurance policies.
EO 486.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
TMJ, that's a really good one too, and like our company name. And so that's coming back. It's making a comeback because there's mandates now. There's state mandates that say that the policies have to have TMJ coverage. So it's pretty good in most states. So TMJ, and then oral surgeries. So implants, if you can deem it medically necessary, but also all the adjunct procedures that go involved.
Is chewing medically necessary?
It is.
Because I feel like you need to be able to eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like dipping.
No.
I don't know about that one, but
No, I really no.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So and there's codes for that, which is
Yeah.
But yeah. So bone grafting related to that is covered a lot, and the CBCTs and radiographs, exams for oral surgeries.
So I do a ton of oral surgery.
Yeah.
In my practice, and we've played with medical billing in the past, and we've really just not been successful.
I'm so glad I got you two together.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like that's all I do in my dental practice
Right.
every day.
Yeah.
Is place implants, pull teeth, bone graft.
Right.
Every day. And I hear people that say, I'm getting medical reimbursement, but how to actually do it, out of network, deductibles, it just seems
They
like
make it easy.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But maybe we should talk more later.
We should talk
about that because it hasn't been easy for us.
Yeah. And when it comes to the oral surgeries and the implants, that's really where those narratives really come into play, and and the ICD codes.
Yeah.
And that's what Dental Writer does. It's going to just it has the list of, okay, what's the patient presenting with? It starts with the questionnaire. So the patient's telling you, is their diet limited to semi-soft foods?
Yeah.
Are they having difficulty chewing and swallowing? Do they have jaw pain, infection?
Yeah.
And so those are the things that we're documenting and starting to build that case right from the very beginning. And so by the time they come in and you're doing your exam and you're marking off your findings and your diagnosis, and you'll have this narrative that presents this great case of medical necessity. And that's what it comes down to.
Now in sleep, you have to have medical necessity from a physician.
Right.
Do you have to have that same medical necessity for TMD, for oral surgery, or are you able to have that medical necessity solely with your DMD or your DDS?
That's a great question. So with TMD and oral surgeries, the diagnosis can come from the dentist, not from the physician.
It actually should be easier
Yes.
than sleep.
It should.
Yeah.
It should. And that's what our whole goal is to make it easier.
What percentage of the business is TMD, sleep, etc., or other?
Yeah, I say about maybe 80% sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, 75 because
I didn't know that, John.
It's not
I
just
swear.
one or the other though. So a lot of
them do both TMD and
Yes.
sleep.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. So let's say 75%,
Okay.
3/4
Yeah.
of our clients are doing sleep.
Okay.
But what we help them with is to start billing and start
For everything,
implementing
yeah.
TMD as well. And then we don't help them implement oral surgeries, but we'll help them bill for it too. So that's one of our philosophies is if you're going to go through all the trouble and the headache to start billing medical insurance, right? It's kind of a pain in the ass. You might as well do it for everything that you can.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's a system that you're implementing that's different from dentistry. And there's other procedures that you can do it for. So that's what we help is, okay, let's start you off billing for sleep, but you're doing oral surgeries too. You're doing bone grafts. Let's start getting you billing for those too. And if you're doing TMD, that's great. If not, we can
Now,
help
John,
you get
I
into
hear
that
this
too.
on a daily. Obviously, you're a dentist. You're the president of Nierman. I'm just a sales guy, right? I hear this all the time from dentists. I hear it all the time. And the word that I love what you said about the easy, right? And speaking to these dentists, is it a fair statement to say that somebody could go to your course, get on Rider Plus, Dental Rider Plus, and that would not solve all their problems, but if they put the work in themselves, they would solve a lot of the issues?
Yes, I would say that. And I hate to,
I didn't say it was an all cure,
Right.
but
I hate to say that, oh, come to a 2-day course and you're all set, because that's not our philosophy either.
no, you said about the support. I think it's a relationship.
The support, but
yeah.
as far as education goes too, I feel very strongly that education should be a pathway. It shouldn't just be like, I don't like to advertise it as just take a 2-day course and you're done. But as far as being able to get started billing, absolutely. Because especially with Dental Writer Plus.
Well, and I can say my team, so we brought billing in-house. We reached a point where we were doing so much, and I looked at what I was paying for the billing company, and I was like, holy shit, I could hire 3 people. And so that's what I did. I sent my team to one of your courses.
Right.
And they came back. And they're like, yeah, I think we can figure it out. And there was a few bumps in the road, but they did. Essentially went to your course, came back and figured out the billing and implemented it and had
So
no
you
issues.
thank Rose and John for
thank you for your help with that. That's phenomenal. So let's talk, I know we'll run out of time here shortly, but while we're on the topics, let's talk about Nierman, Dental Rider Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's interested, who's your target? I guess that you're trying to reach with this message. Is it any dentist that does those procedures? Do you have a growth plan? Are you looking for employees that are doing certain things right now?
So we launched Dental Writer Plus in November. So it's been about 3 months.
Yeah.
And so we're continuously developing it as well, and adding on new features. And in a couple months, it'll probably be at a level where it will be a whole standalone program for sleep only practices.
Wow.
Where it'll have text reminders, full communication, full EMR, full practice management suite.
Wow.
But right now, most of our clients, they have a dental software, and they use Dental Writer for their sleep cases or their oral surgery or TMD cases, where they want to get those cases documented medically and start billing medical. So our target audience is any practice that's getting into dental sleep medicine. It really does make it easier because it streamlines the whole process for everything they need. And but if you're doing oral surgeries too, as a dental practice, we do have practices that they don't even do sleep. They don't mess with that.
Ask that question.
They're just using Dental Writer Plus for oral surgeries.
Yep.
And they can do it in-house, or they can use our billing service that's connected to it. So and that's part of my vision, because there's so many practices doing oral surgeries that they're not billing medical for it, and they can be. So my projection is that we're going to be continuously developing Dental Writer Plus, making it more of a standalone. I think that it can be used by almost every dental practice in the US, as long as they're doing those types of procedures.
Mm-hmm.
Even bone grafting can get covered, and CBCTs for patients that are coming in with infection, dysfunction.
Root canal, abscess, teeth. Can you get CBTs
For
CBCTs
abscess
for that kind of stuff?
Abscess, yeah.
What about for planning for rotten, decayed teeth, and you're going to be doing implant cases? You need that CBCT for the planning side of it.
So a lot of times, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just depends on the insurance company, what their plan is. But we have an acronym when it comes to medical insurance. That's called.
It's probably not called easy. It's probably called shitty.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's why we exist, because, and I'm not passionate myself about medical billing. I want to put that out here, because people ask me all the time, "Oh, what's the code for that? What's the code for this?" And that's my mom, and that's Courtney, and those are our billing specialists. But what I'm passionate about is solving problems, right? And optimizing systems, and that's what this issue is, because that's usually the number one roadblock when it comes to sleep is they have challenges with medical billing.
Yes.
And they get frustrated.
Absolutely.
And they give
I
up.
see that time and time again.
100%. Yep.
And so that's what I love. I love solving problems. I love trying to optimize systems, and
you got to love when someone comes back and goes, it's work.
right.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh
I
my
love it.
gosh. You
Yeah.
saved my,
Absolutely.
that's got to just be.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it never stops. But when it comes to the, that's what we do, is we're constantly optimizing the billing. And I forgot what the question was.
We always ask for, so I could tell you.
Where do people find you?
Where do people?
Yeah,
okay.
target audience, and where do they find you?
Yeah. So target audience, talked about that. They can find us at dentalwriterplus.com if you want to learn more about Dental Writer Plus, or niermanpm.com to learn about all of our solutions.
Before we wrap this up, I always like to bring Dan in. Dan's been asking some great questions lately. So, Dan, you've been listening for this. What do you got?
I have no questions about anything that was talked about.
I can
today,
tell because
but-
he has literally been looking at porn the whole time.
No. I'm curious if you're a Skull and Bones member or a Rothschild.
I
knew you always have good questions.
I'm gonna say Skull and Bones.
You're Skull and Bones. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Alright.
you do know what I'm talking about, right?
I mean, I do. I mean, I'm not.
We're not allowed to talk
I'm
about
talking
it.
about Tim Dillon.
All right, we're
You're
not
what?
allowed.
Tim Dillon.
Tim Dillon. Yeah.
And he
Okay.
on his Patreon, he's got those 2 tiers, and it's funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you didn't know what I was talking about. Sorry.
Yes.
No,
I
I
didn't
thought
know-
I
I
thought he
didn't
was
know.
I
gonna.
knew neither of you
Yeah.
would know what
No,
I was
because I
talking
put that
about.
on my question.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie? Oh shit! I just forgot the name.
All right, I'll go for
No.
mine.
No, it's the Disney movie with the piano guy and the jazz. And
Oh no, I haven't seen the Soul.
Yeah,
Soul.
Soul.
I think
That's what's called.
yeah,
Soul.
Yeah.
It's called Soul.
No,
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
But
when
man.
you start talking about Copeland and the piano,
Yeah.
I immediately went to that movie. So it's a really
I-
phenomenal
It
movie.
is.
I'm gonna have to show you. I have in my iPad. I have video. So he started giving me lessons again last year. Like I hadn't
Awesome.
taken lessons from him like at least 10 years, and I was getting ready for this concert.
Hold on, that you took my question. So I want to talk about this. So again, and again, we will give all the details to Nierman. And
I know. I
all the
wish we had more
information.
time.
I will tell you, man, something I've been impressed with on social media is following you, man. And y'all literally had a freaking concert, dude. And you were
Yeah.
performing. And by the way, you can sing too.
No.
No. So like y'all
wish I
get
could.
down, like y'all have these, like iOS, man, I ain't gonna lie. I went to their Halloween, their meeting during Halloween, and I had the best time that I've had at an event. I just have, because we talked about you work at a booth and you're like, I
Oh,
know we
yeah.
didn't get to the booth time, but
Right.
but man, iOS, man, it was fun. I mean, we had fun. Y'all did a video. It didn't look like y'all were throwing down, dancing, and you're freaking up on stage playing.
We did.
What was that? And
Yeah.
do y'all always do that? It's like,
No.
let's go hang out in Nierman's, man. We're gonna have a throwdown.
We're gonna start doing it now. But so that was the dental festival. I don't know if you heard of that. The dental
Nashville.
festival. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be in
It's
Nashville.
gonna be
this
Nashville
year.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did it last year in Fort Lauderdale,
Okay.
and what the dental festival is a
Excuse for you to get in front of everybody, play
It's
that
ex-
sexy piano.
That's
man.
exactly what it was for me.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But it's a mix of all these dental conferences do their conference
Right.
in one weekend, one hotel, one location,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the evening, everyone from those conferences comes together for the
That's
evening
Too
events.
cool.
So, and there's all the evening events are super fun. Like they had karaoke, and then they had a casino night, and then they had the concert, and then they had a black tie, all kinds of stuff, a cruise, yacht thing, all kinds of fun stuff. It's all about fun. It's mixing education, CE with fun.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And Elijah, who runs the dental festival, he thinks big, right? He's a
Mhm.
big thinker.
Mhm.
And I had met him last year, and I don't know why, but he said, "Hey, do you want to do a concert
I
at the
love it.
dental festival?" And I said, "Hell yeah, I want to do a concert at the dental festival."
I love it, dude.
And then the next day I was like, I can't do a concert at the Dental Field. What am I going to do? I don't. I got to get the band back together. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I love it, man.
Right. So, I'm full time. I'm like the president now. I got time for that. So, but I couldn't turn that down. Right. So I had to, I am in a band, but the band is like just a side thing.
Right.
And they're a bunch of hippies, like straight up. It's just a
Love
bunch
it.
of hippies that
Like Dan.
I'm with.
Yeah.
It's like that. But
Not a
they're-
hippie.
they were like,
That's a hipster.
they're like at Woodstock hippies. Like
Oh,
they were
oh,
actually at
legit. Okay,
Woodstock.
okay.
So
No.
they're like 70.
Yeah.
They're all retired. They're calling me all the time. Hey, can you practice today? I'm like,
I love it.
I can't practice.
got work,
Yeah.
man.
They
You're
got
like,
nothing else to do.
it's 3
They love
o'clock.
it. But they love music, and they introduced me to a lot of cool stuff from the 60s and
Yeah.
70s that I hadn't really been listening to. So I was like, all right, do you guys want to do this concert?
I love this.
So
man.
we put this whole thing together, and it was awesome. That was really cool. But he set up the stage.
Well, let me
these
tell you. So
huge
I
LEDs
getting into this world, I had to follow certain people, right? On social media, we talked about social media, but I had to follow certain people, and I always enjoy your posts, man. What I like about you as a president and in your role, it's so I just love following you, dude. You share your musical taste, you share different things that it's not just about the business. And part of the reason Brandon and I have this podcast is so people could get to know John, right? Get to know you versus just this role or this snapshot we see at LinkedIn and come to this conference and come to this to kind of get to know you.
Yeah.
When I saw the video of you jamming at that concert, I was like, I got to meet this guy. He's got to come on the podcast. I told him, I said, we got to have this guy.
Yeah.
So that was for me when I saw that
Yeah.
on Facebook or whatever, I was like, we got to have this guy.
Well, I tell you, these are the three things that I love too is sleep, and we're in the business, right?
Yep.
And music.
Yep. That's
And
right with us.
a drink or two. That
Yeah.
doesn't hurt either.
Yeah.
This podcast is right up your alley, man.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And health. So
And
again,
health.
we're running off. So
Yeah.
what belt are you right now in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
brother?
I want to talk about that too, because I think having a balance in life is super important.
Mhm.
And I know you guys are both athletes.
Well,
and
I
former-
was.
former,
Yeah. I'm not an athlete.
but that's an important part of
yes,
of your
staying
life.
healthy.
And you
100%.
understand like the physical aspect. So
Mhm.
you have the physical, you have the mental, you have the spiritual, whatever
Mhm.
it is, whatever your balance is. So that's for me. My physical is jujitsu, martial arts, just that. I did some team sports, but I was terrible. So for me, jujitsu was great. And what I loved about jiu-jitsu, what I still do, I'm brown belt. So I've been
God, kick his
doing
ass right here
straight
on
up for
camera.
about 10 years. Like
Just kick his
nonstop.
ass. Like just grab him and I'm kidding.
I get my ass kicked all the time.
Well, that's
So
what jiu-jitsu rolling.
yeah.
That's what it'll do.
it puts you in your place. Like it humbles you.
Humbles
That's
you.
what I love about
It's
jiu-jitsu.
humbling.
It does humble you, no matter how big you are, how strong you are, or how skilled you are. Even as a brown belt, I still
Get
I
tapped. You gotta
struggle.
tap.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Where
But
are you going right now in Florida?
I train out of a school called Gamblers,
Okay.
which is like, most schools are like very traditional, right? They have like a
No.
Japanese name or
Yeah.
something. Like
Well, I was thinking
Brazilian,
10th Planet, Gracie.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
Brazilian,
that's
right?
I
And,
like it.
and then I'm at Gamblers,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And
all right.
it's just like Italian.
cool. Oh.
Okay,
Oh.
so like most of the motto, like most of the on the wall, it's like discipline, respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their motto is nobody moves, nobody gets hurt.
I love that song. Nobody moves. Nobody gets. Well, I'm going to tell you, I think just that side of you is fascinating, and that you're able to mix that. Thank you for the compliment, by the way. That's why I think we connect. When I met you in New Orleans, without even getting to know you, the core values that Brandon and I shared when we first met, and it's almost kind of unspoken, but if you're passionate about something, I think it exudes. Man, I am honored to have you on the podcast.
Likewise.
Your mom did a damn good job, and so did your dad raising you. I would love to have more time to do just Burt Reynolds stories left and right.
Oh,
I
man,
love
I
that
got
you
it.
shared that your middle name's Burt. I won't call
Yeah.
you that out loud.
There's nothing wrong with Burt. It's just John Burt.
John
It's
Burt.
just a weird.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Together.
badass name. I do. John Burt.
That's
Come
why,
on,
you know,
man.
I'm gonna change. It'd be better if it was just straight up John Burt Reynolds Nierman. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would be cool.
Or
I think I-
Bert
Yeah.
Nierman.
I mean, JB's a cool.
Oh!
name.
JB's all right, but
JB's
like
a cool name.
I've thought about changing it to just straight up Burt Reynolds.
That's funny.
You know what? You should.
I think I should.
you
Yeah.
should.
Talk about a different vision.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
my vision.
John, I know we're going to get to hang out a little bit later tonight. Obviously, we're going to stay in contact. Any parting thoughts? We do have all the websites and everything. Did we get all that down?
Yep.
Okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm sitting here with two amazing men in the industry, so I'm very humbled. So thank you guys so much. And it's always a pleasure doing the podcast with you. But man, your family name, dude. How many years? 30? You said
34.
34 years.
Yeah.
John, thank you for being on the
Thank
podcast,
you.
brother. And I know you don't have much in your cup, but you can still sip it. And I appreciate you sleeping around with Dr. Brennan and Matthew John.
Cheers.
Yeah.
When the sun goes down and the moon is high.